and today I've got a super exciting project. We've got a new camping alphabet. I'm going to show you how to make a day and a night version. So what we've done is in Cricut Design Space I've uploaded my alphabet, and it's a plain alphabet with just the tent and some bunting. You will also find a moon, a sun and some stars in the folder. What we are going to do is I'm going to show you how I use those to create these layered files, so that I've created a day and a night version. I'm going to show you how to weld the moon and the sun into the letters so that they're part of the letter. We're going to make a little campfire, and I'm just going to make that out of shapes and show you how I made that out of shapes. That isn't there. You're going to make that yourself, and then we're going to create the files into layered files, making some grass and some starry sky, and it's easy. I know I say that every week. The great thing about Design Space is once you know a few little tips, you can do this yourself, and I'm going to show you how so that you can be your own designer in Cricut Design Space. Are you ready to get started? I've uploaded the camping letters to Cricut Design Space. We've also got a sun, moon and star, so you can use those to create your themes. What we're going to do is we're going to grab the moon, and we want to put an offset on it because we want to make it a little bit chunkier. Once I've created the offset, I'm going to get rid of the older version, the thinner version, and then I'm going to hover that back over, duplicate my moon, and then I'm going to slice this moon out of the back of my camping letter. Now I should remove the contours there, but it worked anyway. So then you're going to remove any excess in the contour tool and pop your moon back in. I'm going to create another tiny offset just to fill in any gaps, and I'm going to weld it together. Then pop your stars in, and now we are going to weld this all together. So make sure that everything's touching and click weld. And now we are going to create our log fire, and this is really easy. You're going to get a square and squash it down, and then so you've got a little oblong, and we're going to crisscross them. So duplicate it and create a crisscross, and right click and weld together. Duplicate that again, pop another one over the top, and then weld them together so that they're staggered. To make your flames, you're going to grab a circle and again squash it down. Duplicate it so that you've got two circles and just make one smaller, and then you're going to slice one side out of the other, and that's going to make a flame. What we're going to do now is we're going to organise our flame so that we've got different levels. So we're going to weld this lot together, and then we are going to duplicate that and we're going to flip it so that we've got 3 different flames. So we'll duplicate that again, cut those out, and we're going to cut these all out separately, and we're going to cut the colours out different size, and that creates a little burner. We're going to group that and put that to one side now and start on our contouring. First of all, I've noticed now I've turned this blue, there is a little gap there in between my moon and my letter, so I'm going to just put a dot in and weld that together. And now we're going to start contouring the letter. So I'm going to duplicate this letter, and then we're going to remove the contour on the tent first, because that little tent bit at the front, the window bit, isn't attached, so you only want one layer that's not attached. So I've duplicated it, clicked on the contour tool and remove the contours for the tent. And I'm now going to duplicate that for the next layer. So I'm going to remove the contours for the moon and stars. And you're always going to remove the contours off the layer that you duplicate. So now I'm going to remove all of the contours for this layer, and that is going to be the very back layer. But I'm going to take the inside of the A out because I don't want that contour to be missing. And now I'm just going to line my layers up. So I'm going to turn the front blue. I'm going to change my tent layer to a nicer shade of green. And now we're going to create the starry sky layer. So I've duplicated the back layer and I'm grabbing some stars. What I've done is I've positioned my top layer over so that I can pop the stars all around so that they don't affect any of the other layers, because the top layer is there purely visually so that I can see how it's all going to fit together. And once I'm happy with that, I'm going to move the top and the back layer out of the way, select all of the stars and click weld. Then I'm going to drag back the back layer and the top layer so I can see where it all fits in. Once I'm happy with the position, I'm going to remove the top layer and then slice the stars out of the back layer. And this is now going to be the second to back. So I'm going to go to the back layer, turn that yellow. That's going to be cut in a gold star colour. And then this layer will be my next to back. And you can see then that I've got the stars in the sky. I'm just going to change the moon to white, and then that's ready to cut. So now we're going to do the daytime alphabet. So I've got my sunshine. I've created an offset. I'm going to duplicate that, and I'm going to remove the contours this time. Slice it out, and that will slice that whole chunk of the corner of the letter A out. And now I'm going to replace that with my duplicate layer. I'm going to create a tiny offset on that so that when you weld it together, there's not as much, or there's less chance of overlap. But I'm not happy with that offset. I think it's a bit thick, so I'm going to go back and do that again. And that's all right. You can do that if you click undo. And now I'm going to add a slightly smaller offset, and that looks better. So now I can select all and weld together. I'm going to turn that white this time to make sure there's no problems. There's not. I just wanted to make sure that the sun was fully connected, and now I'm going to duplicate that layer. And again, with this one, we're going to remove the contours of the tent first because we don't want any extra little bits. And I think I'm going to make this tent pink. So I just need to go into that again because that's not gone. There you go. So I want the window open and the tent coloured. I'm going to duplicate that and put the duplicated layer onto my file. And we're going to make that pink. And now with that duplicated layer, we are going to remove the contour of the sun. So we're going to hit contour tool, the sun and the little light in the tent as well, because that would be the sun shining through the tent. And that's going to be yellow, but we'll duplicate that first, pop that to the back and make that yellow. Now we're going to make the back layer, and this is going to be the sky layer. Hide all contours, but then take the contour out of the middle of the letter A. And now we're going to make the grass. To make the grass, you're going to grab, again, a circle. You're going to ungroup it so that you can squash it down and duplicate it. I'm just going to make one green so you can see. And I'm going to slice one out of the other. And then just drag them around to make them almost grass-like. And just position them. I'm going to keep duplicating the grass until we've got lots of layers of grass. So I'm going to drag some thinner, some fatter, and just overlap them. And it's the top layer you're worried about. That's all that matters. So I'm welding these together now. And then I can start positioning them together. And again, more duplicating. And now what I'm going to do with this layer is I'm going to take the bottom off. So I'm just going to squash this circle out, slice the bottom off. And there is a piece of grass. So what I'm going to do is see what size I want it. And then I'm going to keep duplicating it and weld together. Get rid of that bit, weld all that together, drag that over my letter, and that's about the size I want. So I need to duplicate that again and move that out of the way and weld those. Now I'm going to grab a oblong, I'm going to ungroup that and just drag that onto the bottom. And what I've done there is I've created a bank of grass. And now I've got that, I'm going to duplicate my back layer because I'm going to slice the grass out of my back layer, and that is going to create a separate grassy layer. So select all, click slice, and there you go. There is my grass. I'm going to go to the contour tool, just get rid of any really tiny bits that will be a pain to cut. And now that sits over the top of my sky perfectly. What I'm going to do now is just grab a square because I just want to slice out the tent pole, peg, whatever it is, out of my grass. And then there you go, that's removed, and that will fit in there. There's a little contour to remove. That would have just been a pain to cut, so we might as well get rid of it. And there we've got our daytime and nighttime camping letters, and how cute are they? So now what we're going to do is send them to cut. So I want to work it so that they both fit on an A4 sheet of glitter paper, so that if I have any double layers to cut, then I've got enough cardstock. I'm going to pop in my fires so that you can see those, and they're going to be cut out of scrap card, so no waste with those. I'm just going to go in my scrapbook and pick and see what colours I've got to match. And now I'm just going to size them, as I said, so that they fit, and we're ready to cut. I am choosing a combination of glitter cardstock and cardstock as always, but I just wanted to show you because I've got two white glitter layers and I want to fit them on an A4 piece of paper. So what is really easy to do is if you flip one of your images, and what I'm going to do is go on the corner tool, which they've got it on here, and flip it round, and then you can squeeze them in and you can fit them nearer together on your mat. And now we can send it to cut. I've got my two sets of files cut out here. So we've got the daytime and the nighttime, and I'm putting a fire on both of them. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to build them. I'm going to use my glue to build them, but I'm going to fast forward it because you don't really need to see me build it layer by layer. The main and the most important parts of this tutorial are seeing the files be designed. I'm going to start, like always, working from the back forwards, and I'm going to build my little fires straight away just so that I can pop them on and I don't lose all the bits. I've also got the inside temp roll bits there. As I say, I will check in at the end, but keep watching to see the end result. What did you go for? Did you go for day or night, or have you made both? And it just shows how easy these are to create, and it's just about getting your head around what you're going to do with shapes to create an image. So for example, I mean, if I'd have told you before we started that the grass is made out of shapes, as is the fire, as is the starry sky, everything's made out of shapes, isn't it? So all I'm showing you is how to manipulate those shapes with slicing and sometimes welding to create anything you want. I really hope that you like my day and night alphabet. Please do comment below and let me know if there's any alphabets you'd like to see, and we can get drawing and designing those. They take about a week to do, if not a little bit longer sometimes, but we create the full alphabet set and the full number set, and we'll see if we can create it. Please do check out my other alphabets. Check out the car one, I'll link that into this video because I love it. It's a really cute car with a road, and again, it's how we created all of those little elements to make it a bit more exciting and a bit more fun. So happy crafting, and I'll see you next time.